All right, hello, my name is Helen Leigh. I am going to talk to you about some of the musical devices that I've made over the years. Just a brief introduction to who I am. I have done all sorts of things over the years. Most of the things I'm going to show you today I made for clients or I made for myself and then I wrote about them. I've made things like this to write them up for magazines. Some of these are from a book that I wrote. Some of them might be for an educational project. It's all stuff that I did as a freelancer. I'm no longer a freelancer. I work for a real company, TM, now, which is why I'm here in Portland. I work for a company called Crowd Supply, which some of you may know about, but I am not here to talk about them. Although I will mention the event that I run for them at the end. But there we go. So yeah, let's see what we've got. Let's start off with a noise I made, shall we? Let's just go straight in. Yeah, this is... That's my sub-bass creature that I made. I know I said I made all of these things to write articles about. I actually did not write any articles about this one. This is a creature that I made as part of a range of creatures. I was going to bring one of them tonight, but I actually left it on my kitchen table, so sorry. You can't get to see that. What else have we got? Oh, here's another one that I made. This is an early prototype of another creature thing that I made. I'll talk you through the technology behind them, but let's be honest, everybody just wants to hear it. So let's listen to this one. This is a harp I made. That's my harp. Those were both made using one of my favorite single board computers, which I brought a couple of with me. This was actually made using the previous version. I use a lot of there's a single board computer called the BeagleBoard, and they call the additional, they call them capes, right, on a Raspberry Pi that has hardware attached on top. Arduino has shields, BeagleBoard has capes. And this is the cape here that I absolutely adore. It's the Bella Music cape. I love it. This is their new version. These were made using my old versions. It's like an open source hardware that comes out of a music research unit in London, and they do super awesome low latency embedded audio devices, and I've used them since forever. And yeah, this is one of them. The new thing that I'm making is using the new version, and the previous thing that you saw is also made using that board. And the fun thing about that board is it enables me to collaborate with a few different people. Like for the harp one, I worked with a sound designer who worked purely in pure data. And the software is kind of like Max for Live, but open source. And I just loaded his patch directly onto my creature, and I was able to play it like that, which is really fun. And then the bass creature was made using C++. But you can also use Super Collider on it as well, I think, and Faust on the earlier versions. Anyway, whatever. If you're into making embedded music, definitely worth checking out the Bella Music platform, because that's really fun. But I make things with a lot of different, not just this fancy stuff. I make a lot of stuff with my hands. I've got this here. This one, we've not got a video of it because it sounds absolutely terrible. This is here. It's an embroidered analog synthesizer. It's based on an LM386 chip. And it uses two capacitors, and then it uses the capacitance of your body to make like kind of noises, hence why it's not plugged in. Sounds terrible. But it is a cool thing. I like making things, handmade instruments like that. This is another thing I would make. So I've made a lot of performance instruments for other people. This is my friend Moon in Berlin. I made them this. It's another harp, not to be a stereotype, but I do like a harp. I'm Welsh. This is like a cape that you play kind of like this. Kind of, they will play along like this. So that's a fun thing. And then this is actually quite of an easy prototype that I made using electrical tape, and I forgot what board I used for that. Sorry. Another thing that I would make a lot of, this is also touch-based. That's why I put these two next to each other, because they use the same microcontroller. Haha. There we go. So this one and this project use this board, which is the bare conductive touch controller, makes all sorts of things into buttons. All right, let me tell you about this. This is my tentacle that I'm making here, which is here, this thing. And what that does is it wraps around you, and when you stroke it, it purrs, and it right into your ear holes. You go like wear these headphones with a nice like brr, brr. Anyway, I made it when I was really depressed. That's all it does. It's a glorified button. Okay, it's a button, right? It's a button. If you press the, all it's doing is it checks. This is embroidered thread here, so it checks if there's been a touch. It's a capacitive touch button essentially. But you can make a lot of things with just a simple button. And both of those used a bare conductive touch board, which is very simplified. It's based on Arduino. Touch it and it plays something off your SD card. You can't get them any longer, but there is a replacement. There's something called Spoke, S-P-O-K-E, and that does similar things to that, and that is actually available like this. Why did I? Oh, yes. I was going to tell you where I came from. This was actually the first, I dug this up from the archives. This is the very first musical instrument that I made with my bestie, Phoenix. We made this in a field just outside of London for and there's an event called Electromagnetic Field. And this was a piano that I made that was attached to my arm. And at the time, I was also active in the London hackerspace scene. This was this is Machines Room, RIP. One of my hackerspaces that I belonged to at the time. And I was quite lucky. At the time, there were several hackerspaces quite close to each other. This is early, like 2010, so financial crisis equals empty buildings equals profit for makers and hackers. But I was, as part of this kind of collective of makers and hackers, we had a few different sound collectives. There was the we did a lot of this live coding. That's one of them, and then the other stuff we did was called Hackoustic, and it was everything physical, right? Everything physical. Nothing like wasn't computer music. Wasn't like coding. And making the music on the screens. This is one example, right? It's a giant saw and you hit it with a big mallet, right? It's very, you wouldn't expect that's a kind of like a hackerspace kind of thing, but there was this culture of doing unusual things. Other people that came out of this culture, some of you may know Sam, Look No Computer. He's a friend of mine. We were part of the same thing. He was just on Eurovision and got like no points, which was iconic. He's got a t-shirt now, Look Mum, no points. He literally got 1 point. It was great. we came from, which is traditional, I think. Anyway, so it was really great to belong to a series of hackerspaces that had like a connecting music hacking community, you know what I mean? So not that like I don't have any formal training, any of this, but we all picked up a lot of skills together by turning up and working with each other, on projects that, and then doing like group showings and so on. And I think that just really kind of elevated everybody who was part of that community at the time. So yeah, that was really great. And out of that, I'm going to tell you one story of a thing that I made. I've tried to, yeah, sorry if I'm rambling a bit, but whatever. So this is a project I made while I was part of this community. I have a thing right here, in fact. And initially, this is a glove that I made to control a herd of robot unicorns, of which this is one of them. This is the cheapest microcontroller board you can get. It's a microbit. It's like $10. Really cheap children's microconductor controller. And at the time, I was working with Imogen Heap on a project. This bad boy, actually. So I don't know if any of you have seen the Mimu gloves. They're that came, or if any of you know who Imogen Heap is, even. But so there's like a really expensive expressive MIDI controller that you use your hand to control Ableton, and it was really impressive. And I made a $50 version of it, and they really liked it. So we worked together on this product, which is a DIY, like children sew it and then they code it, and they've made their own wearable music glove. Now, obviously, the kids aren't like controlling Ableton with it, right? They're making square wave bleeps and bloops. But it's a really cool little project that I worked on, like most commercial thing. Anyway, so that was the commercial project side of it. But I actually did end up making it talk to Ableton on my own. So this is a $10 Ableton controller, which is quite fun. So I'm able to like send over accelerometer data via radio or Bluetooth. I actually found radio to be more reliable in this particular instance. But yeah, so it sends signals, accelerometer data over to a paired microbit, which I then process. It becomes MIDI, basically. So I'm able to control things. And I made specifically in this instance, I made it control stuff that Martine made. So Martine is an artist, and she bounces sound off of the moon and then records it when it comes back. She's pretty cool. Does a lot of field recording stuff. So I made my glove control her noises. So we were using this $10 thing to control Ableton and make Moonbite's cello music, which was fun. It was a nice time. And then, yes, product. Yeah, so that was kind of an example of how one project became many, many projects by actively seeking out collaborations and being silly with it. And I will also say that it's not the best Ableton MIDI controller. It drops information all the time. It kind of sucks, but that's not the point. It still worked well enough. It was good enough, What else? How long have I been talking? Probably forever. 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Okay, good. No, that's about the right amount of time. Hurrah. All right, so we've spoken about some of my old projects. We've spoken about this thingy. The thing I wanted to talk about next, because I've only got 20 minutes, was what I'm doing next, because I am working on a new couple of projects. We're not going to go through this. Oh, this is a whole nother talk that I give on sound hacking. Here we are. No, back to that one. So this is one of the two projects that I'm working on at the moment. Oh, I didn't even tell you about that one. Oh, never mind. Oh no, this is a fun one actually. Before I go on to what I'm working on next, this was a cool one. This is a it's on my neck. It's like it's not plugged in, obviously, but it's a touch activated vocoder. So I would like touch here, and it would put on. It's another button. It's a button. They're all buttons, right? You know, people ask me when I create these devices, they're like, "What does it do?" I'm like, "Well, anything you want it to, really. They're all just buttons." Anyway, yeah, that's my vocoder. I used Flex PCB. This was back in the day where you could only get like brown flex. So that's why it's kind of disguised with the black on the back, because brown Kapton is super ugly. I need to redo it now. We've got better flex options. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, that's my vocoder that I wanted to talk about. The Dada machines thing, that's something I'm working on right now. It's not my technology. I'm simply implementing somebody else's technology before you all think I made this. But I thought it was kind of cool, and you might like to. It's called the Dada machines. And they're really nice machines that speak MIDI, and they talk to solenoids, motors, right? And that basically enables you then to use those solenoids to create your own drum kit, essentially. For example, and you might put like bells on top of this or whatever, or I've got like, you know, it can hit anything really. So basically it just actuates like a really solid solenoid, right? So I've been making a full portable drum kit out of this. Oh no, I'm stuck. My magnets. I got my Dada machine stuck to my microphone. What a disaster. I know. So yeah, Dada machines, making the drum kit out of that. That's a really fun one that people should know about. The other thing I'm working on is this. This might look like a bit of tree with a ribbon attached to it, but I guess that is what it is right now. Let me just put it on and I can see what I'm going to do with it. No, wait. So I have wanted to make a drone instrument for a minute. I've not made a drone before. So this log is going to be my first drone instrument. And I've also wanted to make, did any of you see the Playdate? Okay, you've got one. Okay, so the Playdate was this really cool piece of electronics that had a handle on it. You know, you turn it and you get to play with it. And ever since I saw the Playdate, I was like, oh my God, how have I never made electronics with a handle? Like, so I need to make electronics with a handle, plus music. And oh, here we are, look. My handle's not gonna look like this, as you can imagine, but that's the concept, right? You got this little handle. You not seen this before? Really cute. Anyway, I want a handle on this one as well. Goes here. That makes this a hurdy-gurdy. Hurdy-gurdy log tar. So I'm going to have, there will be some kind of, maybe from a sewing machine, TBD, you know, some kind of handle here to play the drone with. And then here I've got multi-touch, capacitive touch, to play the notes themselves. Have not yet decided what I'm going to use for. We've got a 360-degree potentiometer, and we've got like a rotary encoder that we're playing with. I say we again, so I'm working with a Portland person on this one because I'm too lazy to motivate myself to do my own instruments. So I only these days really ever do collaborations so that I feel ashamed enough to actually do the work that I said I would do. But yeah, so Michael Hansen, who some of you probably already know, who's done a bunch of music stuff as well. We're going to work together on this. Are working together on this just as a funsy thing. But yeah, so if anyone's got any bright ideas about how I might make the handle transmit the data, it needs to go forwards and it needs to go backwards. It doesn't have to have incredible latency, but I'm currently exploring ways to solve that, the handle problem. How can I make a handle talk to my, could be I2C, could be just analog. I am pretty agnostic about that. Anyway, if anybody has any bright ideas, please let me know. And that's, I think, my 20 minutes. Well, here we are. Thanks, John. Here we go. That's the radiophonic workshop talk that I'm not giving to you. No, I'm not even on Twitter or Instagram anymore. Let's go back to a beginning. Should have updated the end of my slides as well. There we go. All right, so that's the end of that talk. But I did want to plug something as well, which is, if you are here because you enjoy music tech stuff, please, and you make your own stuff, please talk to me. I run a local event called Teardown once a year. We do it's like a conference, 3-day conference thing. And this year we're doing a lot more music stuff. And we're probably going to have like a Sunday evening concert, in fact. So if any of you guys here have got your own weird instruments that you make, please let me know. Come be part of our orchestra. And that'll be in July. Yeah, so if anybody's interested in that event, I have some postcards. Otherwise, that's my 20 minutes. I hope that was not vaguely enjoyable. Like, does anyone have any questions, or do we do like just chatting in amongst ourselves? Yeah, we can just chat amongst ourselves. If you go on, what's your question? No. No, I sang in a choir quite extensively as a young person, and I played lots of instruments very badly. Oh, some less badly than others, but no, like, proper training.
Which one of these projects did you enjoy the most?
I really enjoy the glove, actually. But just because it's had so many different uses, and I feel kind of evil when I wear it as well, which I'm into. I've never, yeah, I like the glove. Yeah, and I also really enjoy it because it's $10 microcontroller, which really amuses me. Oh, I actually didn't show you one of these things. This is another thing, talking about cheap things I like that amuse me. This is a microphone that I made out of like a $2 piezo, some string, and an embroidery hoop. And it works quite well. Let me see. Shall I try it? Wait, hang on, this one. Or maybe I should put it in the. Oh. There we go. Yeah, my microphone works. It's very cheap. It's kind of enjoyable. But yeah, I this one. I think no one's asked me that before, actually. So yeah. Did you have a question? Someone?
I was just going to ask you to repeat the questions, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. The first question was, do I have any classical background in music? And the second question was, what's my favorite thing that I've made? Sorry. Yes?
What originally got you into like music making technology?
What originally got me into music making technology? Genuinely being at this being in these London hackerspaces here, and just being part of a wider community. Like, I was messing around with like DIY diddly bows, and like I'd made a little breadboard synthesizer or whatever, but it wasn't really until I was part of a group where other people were fucking around that it just made me like level up. And also just, we all share, like sharing your workings and sharing your work in progresses as well is really important, I think. We had this monthly meetup called Hacoustic Presents that was really influential to us all, really. That was people would come along and talk about their work on sound, and it didn't have to be like music. Someone came along who was a cancer researcher that was using sound to deliver, to precisely deliver and then explode bubbles of cancer drugs. They would like use sound to move bubbles along, and then when it was along the bloodstream, and then when it's in the correct place, they would use a different frequency to explode the bubble that would, yeah. Anyway, so there was these kind of group conversations. It wasn't like, oh, here's something I've done, here's my performance. This is like, it was, here's these things that I'm working on, here are the things that I found difficult, here are things I don't know how to do, you know? That, and also, you know, seeing other people making cool things makes you want to make cooler things as well. So yeah, really just being part of that community was really, and London's kind of got some stuff. And then after that, I moved to Berlin for a few years, which also has like a big music community. So yeah, I've seen enough atonal drones to last me a lifetime. Yeah, I've gone so far out, like I've gone through sound art and out to the other side where I think music should sound nice. like, like we've all heard your square wave, man. Like, let's do better. Like, all right, anyone else? Yes.
I think you showed a picture where you had a keyboard connected to the MIDI device. I just wanted to ask
This?
No.
This.
So that
Yeah.
translates whatever tone you pick on the keyboard and.
No, not the, well, I mean, yeah, I guess, like, because, you know, like, on this MIDI keyboard, each of those keys has got, like, a number assigned to it, right? So it'd be like, you know, number 48, right? And that key number 48, you might expect it to make a keyboard sound, but in this instance, it was simply live triggering all of the, so each of these was mapped to a different key on the MIDI keyboard. So that's how it was actually controlling this. So normally you might have that hooked up to your computer and it would, you know, rattle off from Ableton, right? But in this instance, it was a live play.
Am I the only one totally freaked out by the solenoids pointed at glass containers?
No, but they never broke. This is not my setup. Yeah. This is my extremely German friend's setup. This looks very German product design. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Oh, that's Jim's. Yeah. Do you want to say something about it? Yeah, bring it. Go and get it. We're all talking, you know.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
There's no group like the one you had in London here in Portland, is there?
No, there's not. I mean, I did briefly set up a group called Sound Hackers, and we did I think 3 meetups, but then I can't do everything on my own, man. Like, I got, you know, I would do it if there were other people that would do it with me, but I was just doing it all on my own. Like, it's, yeah, I mean, it takes, you can't just do it with one person. And the thing is, like, because I run this hardware happy hour, which is easy to do with one person, right? Because all you're doing is going to have a drink. But for Sound Hackers, like, I put it up on meetup.com and everybody came along wanting to be entertained. They didn't come along with their stuff, right? They were like, oh, let's have a nice evening out looking at the sound hacking people. So I have yet find it's not like a question of advertising it because then the wrong people turn up, you know what I'm saying? Like, but you also want people, like, for there to be a community. I know it's tough, like, yeah, so I think you just need a critical mass of people to get together on a semi-regular basis, but I can't do it on my own, so consider this an advertisement. All right, Jim, do you want to come?
So this is the mosaic board, or this is a new version of it. I gave a talk on a slightly different version a couple months ago, and it's a microtonal keyboard. The other version uses a scale with 28 notes per octave in a just intonation scale where all the notes are, the frequencies of the notes are related by the ratios. This one is designed around the 41 tone cool tempered scale, although you can also play this one in just intonation, and that's the way I have it set up right now.
Do you have a GitHub or something?
Yeah.
Can't find it.
Well, you could look for desideratasystems.com.
Okay, I'll find it for you. Desiderata Systems. Yeah.
The Desiderata Systems is the company.
Keep talking. I'll do this. Oh
Um,
yeah.
and so the keys are pressure sensitive. It has its own sound engine, runs on the PNC microcontroller, with those called um, it can generate MIDI. That's the way I had used it when I was doing the before it had its own sound engine. Usually requires MPE or at least a multi-timbre MIDI setup so that it can do the micro tuning. And I guess that's about as much as I should get into without turning this into a half hour.
The video of that talk is on YouTube, I believe, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So there's more to check out on that. It said Dorkbot PDX.
It's looking good.
Thanks.
All right. Well, I think unless there's any more burning questions, let's call it, and everybody can actually come and talk to me if you have any further things. Yeah, we good? All right. Sweet. Thanks for listening.